pre-existing condition. Can you
Whoa.
imagine? I mean, it's really a very biased system.
Well, women are the ones who do most of the shopping for their families. And women, please unite and let's go after this public option. And remember, the doctors, they want a single payer. That means they want government to pay. It certainly cannot be a one single insurance company. So everybody is moving towards that way. A Gallup poll was taken, and I want to tell you, majority of the people believe public option is the way to go.
We'll see what happens. I don't think this fight is anywhere near over. But also on the issue of health, a lot of you have probably already gone out to get your flu shot. There has been much more talk about the flu, I think, this fall because of the swine flu and fears of that spreading. But there was an article in the New York Times about how this is impacting our everyday lives, whether it be at the workplace or at your place of worship or at your home. Hand sanitizer seems to be everywhere.
Yes.
Those of you who like snacking at the office and bringing treats to share with your colleagues, now many workplaces are setting up rules and regulations about how you wrap and prepare the food. You can't have things that are open that you can reach in and put your hand into. And, you know, pastors and preachers in churches are carrying hand sanitizer under their robes or keeping hand sanitizer in the sanctuary. It is changing the way that we live.
They can always do this. And that way you don't have to shake anybody's hand.
That is a very good point. Our greeting actually helps prevent the spread of disease.
That's right. And of course, if you bow, that's so much better.
That's
you
right.
know. Japanese do it all the time. You know. A quick correction, folks, from last week. We told you about a temple that has filed for bankruptcy, Chapter 11, in Norcross, Georgia. Well, that temple was not BAPS, but the name of the temple is the Hindu temple. We identified a wrong temple at that time. But it goes without saying that this is the time for all of us to see if we can help that temple. They are short for about $2.5 million, but if you can give more, if you can find yourself that you can help this temple, the address is listed on your screen.
You know, with all of the negative stories we keep hearing about Afghanistan and Pakistan, I was really happy to see this particular piece reported by BBC about a new documentary coming out about an Afghan leader. His name is Badshah Khan, and the film is called The Frontier Gandhi, Badshah Khan, A Torch for Peace. Now, apparently, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, his full name, was a real peace leader in Afghanistan starting in the 1920s and was a compatriot of Gandhi. He actually ended up working with the Indian National Congress and tried to lead a non-violent movement for peace in what is now considered the Northwest Frontier province in Pakistan and also in parts of Afghanistan. He's a leader in the Pashtun community, or Pathan is another way of calling that largest ethnic group from this region of the world. And the movement was estimated to have anywhere between 100 and 300,000 members. They were described as the first non-violent army in the world who decided not to use weapons and violence to fight for their freedom and independence.
I mean, how is that working out in there?
Well, of course, this is a story about the leader from many years ago. In the documentary, they interviewed several founding members of the movement, all of whom are more than 90 years old now, as well as experts and family members. They filmed the documentary in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, and in India. They even interviewed Hamid Karzai. They interviewed Pervez Musharraf for the film. So it'll be very interesting, especially in this moment in our history when we see this part of the world as a very violent, dangerous place to be, to recognize that there was a peaceful movement there and to remember this Badshah Khan's leadership.
If these guys all get together, they can solve that problem. Folks, there is an organization called Thinkers 50. They have a biennial award ceremony, and they select the top 50 thinkers and the strategists around the world. And there are plenty of Indian Americans in there. Number one is C.K. Perlat. He was voted number one the world for the second time, the professor of strategy at the Ross School of Business at the University of Michigan. Ratan Tata was number two.
Wow.
He's the industrialist in India. Ram Charan, who is the business consultant to the top executives like Jack Welch and the others, he is number 13. Infosys founder S. Gopalakrishnan is number 15. Vijay Govindarajan, Professor of International Business at the Tuck School of Business and Chief Innovation Consultant for General Electric, is ranked number 24. So there are plenty of Indians and Indian Americans who are in the top 50 thinkers and strategists of the world.
That's something to be very proud of, I think.
Yes.
Well, you know, not only are we proud of these thinkers, India is very proud of Mother Teresa, right? We very much honor her, and in Calcutta she's buried. And although she was not born in India, we consider her to be an Indian. In 1951, she was even given Indian citizenship. Well, next year, the 100th anniversary of her birth will be upon us, and it's considered very likely that she will be anointed as a saint in the Catholic Church.
That's right.
And that's exactly why now her ethnic Albanian heritage is coming into play. The country of Albania is saying, you know what, India, send her remains back to us. She's not actually ethnically Indian. She belongs in Albania, and they're hoping to gain the world's attention by making this request of India. Of course, the Indian government has outright rejected this claim and said that there's absolutely no reason why India should give up one of its most prized members of its community in history. It's kind of complicated because she's ethnic Albanian. She grew up in an area which is now part of Macedonia, and then she devoted her life and all her mission to the people of Kolkata or Calcutta in India. So I don't know how you can really identify her.
There's a group in Southeast Washington, D.C. would like to claim her too, because there's a small little church. That's where she used to spend most of her time when she was in the United States.
You know, and it kind of makes me sad that someone who was a symbol of peace and healing is being fought over by people. It seems like a contradiction, right? If anything, we should respect her memory, and we should keep her remains where they are and not